If fear is running your life, this video is going to change how you approach it. See, most people, when they experience fear, they frantically try to make it go away as fast as they can. But that, unfortunately, is why it sticks around. What we actually need to do is change the relationship we have with fear. My name's Tanner Murtaugh, and I'm a therapist that uses strategies and practices based in neuroscience to help people regulate their nervous system and eliminate chronic symptoms. Now, in today's video, I'm going to share 5 daily habits that you can start to use to retrain your nervous system out of fear. Number 1, allow the sensations of fear. Fear is not just in your thoughts, it's in your nervous system. So many people, when they're experiencing chronic fear in their life, flock and run towards all these cognitive strategies, working with their negative thinking, trying to make fear go away. The problem is fear is an experience. It's an experience that you feel in your nervous system. So when we experience fear, it can feel like racing heart, constriction or tightness in your chest. Your limbs can tense up. Some people feel sweaty, tingly, or buzzy sensations within. And for some people, when they have the experience of fear, they feel physical symptoms like pain, fatigue, or dizziness. And so when you have this experience of fear, I want you to ask yourself, how do you usually respond to it? For most people, it's not the accepting and allowing of fear that occurs. That's what needs to happen, but that's not what happens for most people. When people experience fear, they start to avoid it. They run away from it, or they do every strategy they can to distract themselves from the sensations. But the daily habit that will help you overcome fear is actually the accepting and allowing of fear in the nervous system. And so we need to practice dropping in to our body when you're feeling fear, describing the sensations, exploring them and getting to know them, really deepen your connection with them. When I was healing from chronic fear and chronic symptoms, I really got to know the sensations of fear and over time felt deeply connected to them. And as we do this, we can use safety signals to create safety with the experience of fear. But if you're having chronic fear in your life, don't just use the cognitive strategies. Those can be helpful, but they're not the full picture. We need to practice accepting and allowing fear and feeling it fully. Over time, this can actually retrain your nervous system to reduce how much fear you're experiencing each day. Number 2, approach what you fear. In order to overcome fear, you need to face it. Most of us, when we're experiencing chronic fear, we start to avoid situations in life, or we just start to avoid living life in general. Now, avoidance feels good in the moment. It gives you a little bit of relief. But long-term, avoidance is a danger signal to your nervous system. So if you're experiencing fear and you start to avoid living life, what your nervous system learns is that living life is dangerous. And the next time you have to face a situation or talk to someone that you've been avoiding or progress towards your career, the next time you do that, you're actually going to experience even more fear and anxiety. So long-term, avoidance is the main reason that people stay stuck in chronic fear. Now, I get this in a very deep personal way. About 10 years ago, when I had debilitating widespread pain and I was chronically in a state of fear, anxiety, and depression, I survived by avoiding living life. I basically never left my basement suite apartments. I stayed there most of the day. I stopped talking to friends and family, and I stopped progressing in my career. Now, as I started to heal using a brain-based approach, I was seeing progress. My pain was starting to reduce. I was feeling more regulated. But one thing that I avoided for so long was starting to make decisions about my future career and progress towards it. So at the time, I was deciding between being a therapist and a lawyer. Now, for 3 months, I was in paralysis around this. I was lost in not being able to decide between the two. Countless conversations with my wife, Anne, who told me to stop talking to her about it, which was fair. And I just couldn't decide. And as I did this, as I just stayed in paralysis, I got more and more fearful about my future career. And then one day, I got up the courage and I went and bought a book to study for the LSAT. The LSAT is the exam you need to write to become a lawyer. And I went and bought the book. And I was like, hey, I don't know if I want to be a lawyer, but I'm going to make this first step. And then I slowly started to progress. I started to study for 20 minutes a day, and then 40 minutes a day, and then an hour. And I worked on this for 3 or 4 weeks. Now, ultimately, if you're watching this video, I didn't become a lawyer. I decided to become a therapist. But I do not regret studying for the LSAT for a month. That was very helpful. It helped me mobilize and face my fear. And it actually helped me get more information to decide that I didn't want to be a lawyer. So even though I studied for the LSAT and it was kind of useless, it wasn't useless in reducing my chronic fear because I started to take action. And through that action, I started to feel more regulated. And that's what we're going for. By facing your fears slowly and gradually, you're showing your brain that living life fully is safe. And by doing that, it will actually start to reduce fear over time. So I really want you to ask yourself, how can you start to face your fears today? Do you need to have that difficult conversation with a family member or a friend? Do you need to go out and start dating or making new relationships? Do you need to start making small steps towards your schooling or your career? Or perhaps you need to take up a new hobby. The other day, me and Anne, my wife and me, we went and played pickleball. It was the first time. And I remember feeling a little scared at first, but I was so glad I did it. I went and tried something new, and I learned again, hey, I'm able to do something. I'm able to do something new. And that's what we're going for. So just start to make small steps forward in facing your fears. By doing this, your nervous system will learn that living life is safe, and that will help you in eliminating your chronic fear. Number 3, shift your self-talk. Your thoughts can either fuel fear or reduce it. Now, in my approach, we talk about danger self-talk versus safe self-talk. So danger self-talk can sound like, I'm not capable. I'm not able to do this. The world is scary and unpredictable. The sensations inside are too intense for me to focus on. This decision is going to destroy my life. Now, safe self-talk can sound like, I can tolerate attending to this sensation. It's unpleasant, but I'm going to be able to make it through this. This situation is scary and challenging, but I've been able to face challenging situations in the past and overcome them. I am capable and able to make new relationships and improve old ones. Now, the first step here is you need to develop awareness of when you're having danger self-talk. Otherwise, this danger self-talk is just going to be fueling your fear in the background. The problem is danger self-talk becomes so habitual, we don't even notice when we're doing it. I've had this experience where all of a sudden I'm in danger self-talk for 3 hours about my business, without even realizing that I'm there. So again, the first step is you need to be aware. You need to have like a radar where you're just starting to pick up when you're having danger self-talk about different aspects externally in your life or internal sensations. And then by doing that, when you catch that danger self-talk happening, then you're shifting to using some safe self-talk. I really committed to this when I was trying to reduce fear in my life. It was a lot of work at first, but over time, it will just become automatic and easy. Right now, because I've been doing this for so many years, as soon as I have a dangerous self-talk, I'm really aware of it and I can shift to safe self-talk. It almost takes no effort anymore, but it took a lot of intentionality at first. So you got to really commit to this. Now, the other thing I want to say is as you use safe self-talk, you're not going to probably fully believe it at first. That's normal. The action of doing this needs to happen repetitively before the belief will start to occur. First, do the action, and over time, the belief in the safe self-talk will take place. Number 4, breath work. Each breath brings an opportunity to reduce fear. Now, breath work involves bringing intentional awareness to your breathing and using certain breathing patterns. These have been utilized for centuries in yoga and qigong. When you have irregular breathing, where you're not breathing deep into your stomach, you have this shallow breathing taking place, it's rapid and all over the map, as that occurs, chronic fear is going to worsen. Now, what we want to shift to is regulating our breathing, controlling our breath. And by doing this, we can teach our nervous system to exit states of fight, flight, and freeze. Now, there's lots of fancy breath work out there, and I like to learn different fancy breath work patterns. That's fun, but I want to make it really simple for you right now. What you are aiming for is 5 to 7 breaths a minute. That's the goal. Now, you can do deep belly breathing that can help you regulate. So you're going to be breathing in and out through your nose, or in through your nose and out through your mouth. Either of those patterns are okay. You just always want to be breathing in through the nose. And so as you do this, you want to make your exhale twice as long as your inhale, as long as this isn't too unpleasant for you. So for example, if you breathe in for a count of 4, you want to be breathing out for a count of 8. And so by using breath work, deep belly breathing, you can help your nervous system shift out of a state of fear into a state of safety and calmness. Number 5, movement. Somatic movement supports releasing sympathetic energy and shifting you to a state of calmness. A lot of people, when they experience fear and they're feeling all those awful sensations inside, they freeze, they stop moving. And then what happens is all that high sympathetic energy that makes up fear starts to build up inside. People can almost get shaky or buzzy as that starts to build. And so to overcome this, we can use somatic movements. And I would really recommend making somatic movements a daily habit if you have chronic fear. Now, movement is medicine. It's going to help you create safety and regulation, release difficult emotions, dysregulation, express your emotions, and teach your nervous system that movement is safe. Now, I have longer Qigong somatic movement practices on this channel. I'll put one of the links in the description of this video so you can try it out. But a simple move that I like to utilize, I'll move back so I don't hit my mic. I call it stretch and soften. So as you inhale, you're going to raise your arms up to each side of you, turn palms over at shoulder height, and then exhale, bring your arms down in front of you. Inhale up, turn palms over, and exhale down. So, a simple move that you could do for 3 to 5 minutes when you're feeling fear. But I really want people to try this out. If you've tried sitting still and meditating when you're experiencing high levels of fear and it's just making you feel worse, try out somatic movement. Add this into your daily routine and see if it's helpful for you. So I hope this video was helpful on 5 daily habits to overcome fear. Please put your questions, comments down below, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.